Most of the electrical safety rules you take for granted today, the ones baked so deeply into modern construction that you've probably never thought about them, exist because people learned the hard way, through actual house fires and real losses, exactly what happens when wiring is done carelessly. Understanding where those rules came from actually makes you a genuinely safer and more competent person to wire your own solar setup today. Before getting into the specifics, I want to mention something. There's a guide linked in the description, the Off-Grid Solar Power Bible by Caleb Stone, and its installation section is built directly around these same safety principles, translated specifically for solar wiring. I'll come back later in the video and walk through what's inside it. Here's the actual history worth understanding. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, as electrical wiring first spread into homes and businesses, there were no standardized codes governing how it should be done. Wiring was often improvised, using whatever materials were available, run without proper insulation, without adequate protection against overloading, and without any consistent grounding practice. The result was predictable and genuinely dangerous. Electrical fires were a serious and growing problem, caused by overloaded circuits, deteriorating insulation, and wiring run in ways that created hidden fire hazards inside walls and ceilings where nobody could see the danger building. In response, organizations began developing standardized electrical codes, establishing rules around wire gauge sizing relative to the current it would carry, proper insulation requirements, grounding standards, and circuit protection through fuses and later breakers. These weren't arbitrary bureaucratic rules, each one exists because it directly addresses a specific, documented failure mode that had already caused real damage and real loss before the rule existed. Understanding this history reframes something that can otherwise feel like tedious red tape into what it actually is, a hard-won safety record written in the language of regulation. The first core principle worth understanding is wire gauge sizing relative to current load. Every wire has a maximum safe current carrying capacity, and exceeding that capacity causes the wire to heat up, sometimes dramatically, which is exactly how so many early electrical fires started, wiring simply undersized for the load it was actually carrying. This applies just as directly to a home solar installation as it did to early residential wiring. The wire running from your panels to your charge controller, from your battery bank to your inverter, and from your inverter to your home's electrical panel all need to be sized correctly for the actual current they'll carry, and undersizing any of these connections creates a genuine fire risk, not just a performance problem. This is one of the most common mistakes made by DIY solar installers who focus heavily on the components themselves, the panels, the batteries, the inverter, while treating the wiring connecting them as an afterthought. The second principle is proper grounding. Grounding exists to give electrical faults a safe path to follow instead of through unintended paths, including potentially through a person touching the system. Early ungrounded electrical systems created situations where a fault in one part of a circuit could energize metal components throughout a structure unpredictably. Modern solar installations absolutely require proper grounding, for your panels, your racking system, your charge controller, your battery bank, and your inverter, and skipping this step because it seems like an unnecessary extra task is exactly the kind of shortcut that early electrical fires were caused by, taking a step that seems optional until the one time it actually mattered. The third principle is circuit protection, fuses and breakers sized correctly for the circuits they're protecting. The entire point of a fuse or breaker is to fail safely before a wire does, cutting power before excessive current causes a wire to overheat. A solar installation needs appropriately rated overcurrent protection at multiple points, between your panels and your charge controller, between your battery bank and your inverter, and at your main electrical panel connection. Skipping or undersizing this protection removes exactly the safety mechanism designed to prevent a wiring issue from becoming a fire. The fourth principle, and one that trips up more DIY installers than almost anything else, is the legal and permitting side of installation. Electrical codes exist specifically because unregulated wiring created serious documented harm, and modern permitting exists to ensure installations meet those safety standards before they're energized. Skipping permits on a solar installation isn't just a legal risk, it removes an independent safety check that exists specifically to catch mistakes before they become dangerous. A lot of people treat permitting as a bureaucratic hurdle to avoid, but it's genuinely the modern continuation of exactly the lesson learned from those early electrical fires, an outside check on work that, if done wrong, can genuinely put a home and the people in it at risk. This is exactly where I want to bring the conversation back to the Off-Grid Solar Power Bible, because its installation section is built specifically around these principles, translated into practical, illustrated steps for solar wiring specifically. It walks through proper wire gauge selection for each connection point in your system, correct grounding procedures specific to solar equipment, appropriately sized overcurrent protection, and it directly addresses the legal and permitting process, the exact step most DIY guides gloss over or skip entirely, leaving people to figure out that part on their own after they've already bought all their equipment. Looking at the full collection, it's structured as a complete 7-book system rather than a single installation manual. It opens with the foundational pillars of off-grid living, moves through urban off-grid living with real case studies, and covers solar power made simple, the fundamentals of batteries, charge controllers, and inverters explained in plain language. From there it walks through properly designing and sizing your system, the full illustrated installation guide we've just been discussing, dedicated maintenance guidance, and a section on small-scale solar for RVs, vans, and boats. The entire collection comes with a full video course included, so you can actually watch correct wiring and grounding technique happen, rather than trying to interpret static diagrams alone. It currently holds a strong 4-star rating from more than 170 reviewers, and a recurring theme in those reviews specifically mentions the illustrated wiring diagrams making concepts click that had felt intimidating or confusing in other resources people had tried first. If you're planning to install your own solar system and want to do it the way these hard-learned safety principles actually demand, correctly sized wiring, proper grounding, appropriate circuit protection, and legitimate permitting, I'd encourage you to read through what other people are saying in those reviews before deciding. A guide holding this kind of consistent rating across this many reviewers, specifically around a topic where safety genuinely matters, tends to be worth the read before you start buying equipment. The wiring rules we follow today aren't arbitrary, they're a direct record of lessons learned through real fires and real losses a century ago. Applying that same seriousness to your own solar installation isn't optional if you actually want your system to be safe, not just functional. Share this with someone who's about to start their own solar install and might be tempted to skip a step that seems unnecessary. Subscribe to In the Beginning, and I'll see you in the next one.